welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and today is the start of Nightmareathon. It is Friday, October 25th and I am so excited. We are finally here and I am starting my part 1 vlog for the Nightmareathon. Right now it's a little bit before noon and I already finished one of my books today and started my second. Granted, my first book was only about 60 pages and that is The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, and this is one of the only books of hers that I haven't read and I've heard it was really good, a paranormal ghost story. I don't want to say too much just because it only is 60 pages and anything I say I think would be a spoiler, but our main character is a clairvoyant slash sex worker. Very interesting combo, and she gets wrapped up in this haunted house trying to help this lady. And I did find this really intriguing and I think I would have loved this as a full-length novel just because it was really atmospheric and I did like the ambiguity of it. But I can never rate short stories more than 4 stars just because for me they aren't my cup of tea. I much prefer a full-length novel, but I did like the writing style and I still gave it 4 stars and I really enjoyed it. I was recommended this by Jacqueline over at Weeby Bookins. I'm reading it because of her recommendation, and so thank you, Jacqueline, for recommending it because I did enjoy it a lot. And then this morning I also was just doing some house chores, dishes. I steamed up some sweet potatoes for Avery and made mashed potatoes for her, and I just put it in the fridge so that way for the next few days I can just serve it up for her. It's very easy. I do butter, salt, and pepper and she loves it. Tonight we also have the trunk or treat where we're going to be dressing up Avery and taking her on a little trick-or-treating excursion on base. And basically all the squadrons each have a vehicle that they decorate a themed trunk and they pass out candy. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be her first time. Last year she was only 3 months, so she was a little too young for it. So I'll definitely show you guys clips of her costume because I'm sure she'll look adorable. And even with all the stuff I did this morning, I managed to pick up another book, and that is Girls Like Us by Christina Alger. I've heard really good things about this book and it just came out this year. I'm 105 pages in and there's only about 270, so I'm definitely over a third of the way through. It's a very quick read and kind of reads a little bit like a police procedural. Our main character named Nell, she is an FBI agent and she's on leave from work because she got shot in the shoulder and it's kind of been hard for her to heal from that. Mentally, physically, all of that. And unfortunately her dad passes away, so she goes to Suffolk County on the island where he lived for his funeral, and he was a homicide detective. And so all of his force was there to kind of commemorate him. He didn't die in the line of duty. He died from a motorcycle accident, and her and her father had an estranged relationship, so it felt really weird to be back home, especially because Nell has a lot of bad memories at home. Her mom was murdered when she was 7 years old on that island, and she has a lot of really terrible memories about that. And so being back home brings back all those memories to the surface, and she's kind of having to deal with those. Just so happens while Nell is there tying up the loose ends of her dad's estate, a woman is found brutally murdered on the beach, I think, and it was done in the same exact way as a murder from the year previously, so they're thinking it is a serial killer, and the local detectives are asking for her help since she's an FBI, and since she's on leave she decides to help them and look into this murder and try to investigate what happened. That's kind of where we are right now, and she's putting all the pieces together and talking to people and trying to make connections of who it could be who did these murders. And so far I'm really enjoying it. It was a little bit on the slow side at first. It took a little while for me to get into it. It was a little bit detail heavy, and I'm enjoying it. Like I said, definitely has potential and I'm really excited to kind of see where it goes. I like that it's a little bit shorter. 270 pages is super manageable and perfect for a readathon. I'll definitely finish this today, so when I make more progress I will come back and update you guys. Okay, so it's a few hours later. It is now 4:30 and Avery took an extra long nap today, which was a great reprieve for me. While she was asleep I also did a bunch of cooking. I made the bean soup that I made in my last vlog. I kind of tweaked it a little bit and made a big batch of it so my husband and I could have it this weekend. And I just sat down and read, and I ended up finishing Girls Like Us by Christina Alger. This was a really quick read because, like I said in my last clip, it's only 270 pages. I feel like this book is great for people who enjoy Karen Slaughter's type of crime writing, but they want something a little less gruesome because Karen Slaughter is really gritty and she definitely writes all of the details in regard to all the crimes, where this is also crime-based but it didn't really get into the nitty-gritty of each crime. Definitely less graphic, so if you don't like graphic crime novels I think you would like this one. I thought it was a little bit slow for the first half of the book, but then it definitely picked up the pace once we started putting the pieces together and everything started coming together. But there was just a little bit something missing for me. I wanted to feel a little more of a thrill, and I did want a little bit more of that grittiness in this book where I didn't get that. But it still was really enjoyable and I didn't guess who the perpetrator was, so I always appreciate that. So I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars and I still would recommend it. So now I've completed 2 books already for Nightmareathon, which is absolutely amazing. I'm about to put Avery in her costume and we're gonna go do trunk or treating. it's the next day, and as you saw in my last clip, Avery was in her bunny costume and we took her trunk or treating. That was about 5 p.m. and she threw an absolute fit and she didn't really enjoy it. I think she hated her costume, and getting her shoes on when we were doing the costume was a total meltdown. So we ended up leaving the trunk or treat kind of early because she wasn't really enjoying herself. And so we decided to go over to Barnes & Noble, and that was a bad idea because she ended up throwing an even bigger fit inside of Barnes & Noble. So we had to leave and head home. By that point, we got home after 7:30 p.m. and we were just trying to focus on getting her calmed down, going to sleep, and kind of relaxing ourselves because it was pretty stressful. She screamed like the whole car ride home. That's just real mom life because toddlers throw fits for kind of no reason at all. And so by that point, I didn't do any more reading for the readathon and I kind of just wanted to relax. Didn't have anything to update you guys on, so here we are. Didn't update last night, so I apologize. I finished reading a romance arc last night before I went to sleep. Then this morning I started Last Summer by Carrie Lonsdale. This one was recommended to me by Kendra over at Kendra Loves Books, and she absolutely loved this book. I believe it came out earlier this year, like in the summer, and I've always seen this author's books pop up on Kindle Unlimited, but I've never actually read one, so I was super excited to read this one. Like I said, it's available on Kindle Unlimited, which is awesome, so if you subscribe to that, you'll be able to read this one for free. And so far, I'm a third of the way through the book and really loving it. It is one of my favorite tropes, which is the amnesia trope. It is about a woman who she wakes up in a hospital and she had a surgery done and she has an injury and she has no memory of how she got there, and her husband is there and she knows who he is, but she has no memory of how she got in the hospital. And she is told by her doctor that she had a car accident and she lost a baby in that car accident at 21 weeks. But she had no memory of being pregnant. All she remembers is the night of the accident, having dinner with her husband, no memory of being pregnant, and now she wakes up in the hospital. So she goes back to her normal life and tries to put the pieces back together of her memory. Unfortunately, it doesn't come back and it's been several months, but she gets the sense that something is kind of off and that people are keeping secrets from her, and that's kind of where we are right now. I haven't hit any like plot twists, but I was told by Kendra that this has multiple great plot twists and that especially the one at the end is really good. So I'm dying to get to the end and read it. It's only like 200 and something pages, so I definitely will be able to finish this today. It's a really quick read. So I'm going to do some reading, just try to relax and enjoy my Saturday, and I will come back and update you guys later.
Jet planes in the night sky with you, getting high in the sunrise with you, getting through all the bad times with you. I wasn't missing a thing, no I do. And I wish that I could build a time machine, 'cause time moves on and now you're gone. Oh, if only I could build a time machine, I'd come and get you. I can't forget you.
Okay, so it's 4:30 now and I've had a really relaxing day. I spent a lot of the afternoon reading while Avery was taking her nap, and then once she woke up, my husband and I just played with her and I got to read a little bit more. So I've actually gotten a ton of reading done today, which is great. Earlier this afternoon, I did finish Last Summer by Carrie Lonsdale. This was a really fast read. It was just shy of 300 pages and I felt like it read really quickly. It only took me a matter of a couple of hours to read it. I really enjoyed how many twists and turns happened towards the end of the book and you didn't really know what to believe. I did guess a couple of the twists, which was kind of a bummer, but I still found it really enjoyable. I love thrillers about amnesia and I found that really intriguing, and this kind of had a love triangle in it, which I found really good too. I don't know if this could be classified as like romantic suspense, but it almost had like a romantic element to it, which I found really interesting. So I really did like this book, but I definitely couldn't give it 5 stars just because it didn't have that wow factor for me. So I ended up giving it 4 stars and I still would really recommend it. And then this afternoon I picked up The Secrets She Keeps by Michael Robotham, and this is our group read for Nightmareathon as well as our thriller talks after dark. I definitely wanted to get it read this weekend. That way I was all set for our live show on Tuesday, October 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern. It'll be over at Jackie's channel. And so far I am 105 pages in, and I think it is nearly 400 pages, but it is a pretty quick read. And I'm using this really cute bookmark. It has ghosts all over it, and this was made for me by my friend Heather. She has an Instagram account. I will link her down below. She sent me a bunch of Halloween themed bookmarks, and I think she's going to be creating an Etsy shop soon with these bookmarks. They're really cute, and this one is perfect for Halloween since it has the ghosts on it. But about the book, this one is about two different women named Megan and Agatha, and both women are pregnant. They are in their third trimester, and they are both due in the month of December. And the two women could not be more different. Megan is married. She already has 2 other children. She's a stay-at-home mom. She has a mom blog, and she seems to have the perfect life, whereas Agatha's life does not appear to be as glamorous. She works as a stalker at a local grocery store. She doesn't have a boyfriend who is involved in the pregnancy, and just life in general is a little more bleak for her. But she's always watched Megan and her family from afar and has always wanted to be Megan's friend, but never had a reason to be. But now that they're both pregnant, she wants to become Megan's friend, and she feels this is the perfect time to do so. And we're jumping back and forth in perspectives between the two women and kind of seeing what's going on in their respective pregnancies and kind of flashbacks to the past as well. And so far I am enjoying it. There has been a couple of twists that have come already, but I did find one of them pretty predictable. But even still, it is a really easy, quick read, and I do love books that are domestic thrillers about pregnancies particularly. I find that so fascinating. So I am really enjoying this, and I definitely like it more than our last month's read, which was 13. I don't think I'll be able to finish this tonight, but I'll definitely finish it tomorrow. So when I make more progress, I will come back and update you guys. Okay, so for dinner, I am making Brussels sprouts and this barbecue crusted chicken with a hot honey. I got the recipe from Kendra over at Kendra Loves Books, and I think it came from her Home Chef box. And when I saw it on her vlog, I knew I wanted to make it, so I had her send me the recipe. I'll leave the link down below. It'll have all the exact measurements, but it sounded really easy, and so far it's been pretty simple. You preheat your oven to 425, and then for the Brussels sprouts, you want to quarter the Brussels sprouts, then cover them in olive oil, salt, and pepper, and then I just put them on a foil-lined baking sheet. For the chicken breasts, I think you need about 2 pounds, so I just did 2 large chicken breasts. And then to make the crumbles stick and to keep the chicken moist, you top them with a little bit of mayonnaise, so I just spread a little bit on top. And then for the crumble, I have it all here in this little bowl. But it would be some seasoned panko breadcrumbs, some barbecue seasoning rub, as well as garlic cloves. I just use this minced garlic. And then I'm going to spread that on top. Okay, so I put the topping on the chicken and I'm about to pop it in the oven, but I doubled the recipe for the topping just because the measurements in the recipe didn't seem like quite enough. And I still had a little bit left over, but I think this was a perfect amount. And it says to only roast it for 15 to 20 minutes, but with the amount of Brussels sprouts I have and the thickness of the chicken, I think I'm going to have to cook it for at least 30 minutes, but we'll have to see. I'm going to be having a mixture of honey and hot sauce to make the hot honey. It didn't state what hot sauce, but we love Cholula, so I'm going to be using that. And then I'm going to be using a honey mustard dressing to drizzle over the Brussels. So I'll show you guys once it is all ready. So this is dinner served up after it came out of the oven. I topped the Brussels sprouts with some honey mustard dressing, and then I poured the hot honey over the chicken, and this was so good, guys. It was really bomb. I would definitely make this recipe again, and that is the dressing that I used for this. Good afternoon, guys. It is day number 3 of Nightmareathon, and it is afternoon. I didn't get a chance to update you guys this morning, but earlier I did finish the book I was reading yesterday, The Secrets She Keeps by Michael Robotham. I got to about 210 pages last night. I got way further than I thought I would, and this morning I ended up finishing the last 60 or so pages, and this book was really good. I loved the dual perspectives between Agatha and Megan, which are our 2 main characters. Unfortunately, I did see all the twists and turns kind of coming. They weren't really shocking for me, but I still found it to be a really easy and enjoyable read, and so I gave it 4 stars, and I still really liked it, and I'm really looking forward to discussing it on Tuesday on Jacqueline's channel. I'm also reading a romance arc that I have to read by Tuesday because that's the day it's being published, and that is Stud Muffin, and I forget the author's name. It is the 2nd book in the Donner Bakery series. I'm 35% through and I'm enjoying it, not loving it so far. I know this has nothing to do with Nightmareathon, but I do have other commitments outside of this readathon just to meet some deadlines, so I figured I would share that as well. A couple of days ago, I also read a romance arc called Landon and Shay by Brittany C. Cherry. It is the first book in a 2-part duet, so I'd already finished a romance book during this readathon, and I'm reading another one that's due Tuesday. So aside from all the thrillers I'm reading, I'm keeping up on my romance arcs, and now I think I'm going to be doing some editing just so I can get a lot of this vlog edited before tomorrow. And then I'm going to pick up The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, and this one has not come out yet. This is an arc I got off of Edelweiss, and I believe it's a ghost story about a haunted motel, which sounds really good, and I'm really excited to read it. So once I make some progress in that one, I will come back and update you guys. Okay, for dinner tonight, I am going to be taking regular pasta sauce and showing you guys how I turn it into a really good meat sauce with lots of veggies and a ton of flavor. So you want to start with definitely 2 jars of pasta sauce. I last time got the roasted garlic and basil, and it was really good, but I couldn't find it this time at my grocery store, so I just got Prego Traditional. I also will need some Kalamata olives and then a bunch of seasonings, which I will show you guys later. So right now I am starting to boil my water for the pasta, and then I am browning up about 1.5 pounds of really lean ground beef. So this is about 93%. And then I am cooking up some veggies in olive oil. So there are some sliced portobello mushrooms. They come in just a little 1 pint size. Then pre-chopped white onion, and then also some garlic. So I'm just gonna cook those down, and then once everything is cooked up, I kind of combine it. So once they are a little more cooked, I will show you guys what I do next. Okay, now that the meat and the veggies are all cooked up, I'm gonna be adding some seasoning and kind of turning this down a little bit, probably to like a medium low. And I'm gonna be adding some seasonings to the beef, and I like to use onion powder and garlic powder, which you don't need a lot of each because I have fresh of both of those. And then we like ours spicy, so I'm gonna add quite a bit of red pepper flakes. And then I think that oregano as well as basil make it taste really good if you like those seasonings too. You could also use like a classic Italian seasoning that has all of them in it, but I kind of just use the individual ones. I don't have Italian seasoning anymore, so I work with what I got. I'm gonna add these in here as well as some of the olives and the sauce and put it all on simmer, so I'll kind of give you a look at it once I have it all together. So this is how the sauce looks after I've added everything to it, and I used quite a bit of the olives, so I used about half of the jar, and some of the juice got in there, but not really. If you don't like Kalamata olives, I know these are not everyone's favorite. We love them, but you could use a more milder olive, like a black olive if you prefer that. I think that would also be really, really good. But this is how it'll look, and you will not find a better and easier sauce out there. I've made several different completely homemade sauces, and it's just a lot of work, and I don't think it tastes as good as this. You notice I didn't add any salt to this just because I feel like the jarred sauces already have a good deal of salt in them, so I don't think it needs the salt. I just add the extra spices to make it taste a little bit better in my opinion. So I'm going to put a lid on this and let it simmer until the pasta is finished, and then I'm also making garlic bread too. That'll need to go under the broiler, and I will show you everything once we're about to eat. It is absolutely delicious, and let me know if you make it because I think you guys would really like it too. Okay, so this is the final result with the pasta. I topped it with some really nice Parmesan cheese, and we put a little bit of pepper on top and served it with some garlic bread, and it was really tasty. Okay, so it's 8:30 now. It is several hours since I did my last update, but I did end up starting The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, and I'm really enjoying this one. Right now I'm 25% through, and one thing I really love about this is it is dual timelines. So we're following 1982, and we're following a young woman named Vivian who goes by Viv, and she just moved to this little remote town in upstate New York, and she took a job at this really rundown motel called the Sundown Motel, and she is now the night shift worker. And while she's working there, strange things start happening. Doors are opening without people being in them. She's seeing people that aren't actually there. She's hearing voices. People are pushing her, but they're actually like maybe ghosts. And so she's pretty scared to go to her job at night because all the weird things are happening at night. And we know that 3 months after she started working there, she disappears. We don't know if she died. We don't know what happened to her, but we as readers do know that she did disappear. Then the current timeline is in 2017, and we're following a girl named Carly. And I think she's a similar age to how old Vivian was. And Vivian is actually her long lost aunt that she really didn't know about for most of her life. But Carly has a fascination with death and murders and things like that. She loves true crime. So she decides after her mother passes away that she's going to investigate what happened to Vivian, because her mother never wanted to talk about her sister and her mother just wanted to leave Vivian in the past. but Carly wants to find out what happened to her. So she goes to this small town in upstate New York and she gets a job at the same motel, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her aunt. And similar things are happening to her. So we're following two different women over 30 years apart, and the same kind of things are happening to them in this creepy motel in the middle of nowhere. And it's very atmospheric, really good. I like the paranormal kind of element to it. So I'm really excited to read on and read more of this one. I don't think I'll do any more reading tonight just because I have to edit and upload this vlog. And then I possibly, if I do read any more, I will pick up the book I was reading that is an ARC, which is Stud Muffin. And this one right now, I am, I believe, over 50% in. And I am enjoying it. I don't love it, but it's pretty cute if you are looking for kind of a light romantic read. So yeah, I think I'm going to end this vlog here. Definitely come back so you can see days 4 through 7 in my second vlog. As always, I will link all the books I talked about as well as the recipes and all of that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on my next one.